We live in a pretty controversial time, so I want to talk about a controversial thing. I got a comment yesterday that wasn't just targeted at me, but also maybe targeted at you. So let's discuss it. It said, I don't understand this time thing. You guys talk as if you work 16 hours a day. Come on. I thought to myself, first I thought, whoa. Do I exaggerate about my time allotment? Do I exaggerate about how little time I have? Am I off base? Am I wasting my time? What is going on here? And then I wrote, we have kids. I said, kids, bro. We work 20 hours a day with kids. The response? Interesting. Don't you have 1 hour a day? Don't you time manage from another person? As you get older, you just are better with your time. I thought, you're correct. You're correct. It's true. As we get older, we get better with our time. And I think that as I've gotten older, when it comes to gaming as a whole, I've had to decide which way is going to grant me the best access to gaming with the time I have, which is very valuable. And so I thought maybe today the discussion is around this idea of time. Maybe come at it from a non-YouTuber's perspective. Maybe be extremely realistic about it. Because I feel like when it comes to this space of gaming online, YouTubers talking about games, there might be a little disassociation with realistic expectations. I hope that my channel does a good job at maybe showcasing some of the balance of that. I know that I may have an unrealistic budget in some ways, but I think that's something that I've been able to realize more as time has gone on, is the commodity which is time is something that is starting to dictate decision making, as it should for all of us. So as someone who indeed struggles with time management in some ways, but is learning how to properly allocate time to participate in some of my hobbies, maybe if you're the same too, this is directed towards you. The dads in the chat, honestly, or the dads in the comment section, whoever. Time for us is very valuable. So let's first start off with what a schedule looks like. I'm going to use my own self as an example because I think that, it helps shed a little light as to why, I talk about the topic the way I do. So I have two children. I have a 1.5-year-old and almost 1.5. I think he's 1 and 5 months, and a 4-year-old. My 4-year-old has just recently started going to preschool, which has been a really exciting thing. But she only goes 2 days a week, and she goes 2 days a week for what is by most standards a full day. 9 in the morning to about 3. It's pretty cool. She gets to socialize with other kids for a couple days a week. And the reason why it's only a couple days a week is, one, I think that going for 4 days or 5 days a week would have been too much of a real transition for her, going from zero school to like full-time school. And also, we can afford it. Schooling, especially private school, in California is ridiculous. And so we put her in 2 days a week. The other 2 days a week, she is at my in-laws' house. And so for 4 days a week, she is doing stuff with her cousin, my in-laws, learning things and having fun, which is cool. Now, what does that do about my son? Well, my son is at my in-laws' house with my daughter 2 days a week as well. But the days that she's at school, it's just guy time. He and I having fun. And let me tell you, my son, being 1 and 5 months, is a very, very active boy. He likes to run around. He likes to play outside. And he requires a tremendous amount of running. Yes, we have to go outside and literally let him just run around because he's crazy. Normal stuff, normal kid stuff. If I don't do that, naps don't happen. If naps don't happen, nighttime sleeping doesn't happen. And if nighttime sleeping doesn't happen, nobody's happy. So as far as time is concerned, my day starts around 5 a.m. Now, 5 a.m. for me is when I wake up, come downstairs, make myself a cup of coffee, and pray that no one else wakes up. That's not usually the case, but my gracious wife usually takes over the first shift. At that point, with the kids being handled, I have a couple hours to edit videos, whether it's this for you guys, plan out my live streams, which happen Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, 6:30 p.m., currently over on Twitch until Twitch burns to the ground because they seem to be self-sabotaging. We'll see. Twitch.tv/JDXCoffee. Let me know in the comments if you just despise that platform and would rather me come back to YouTube for the 19th time. Just let me know. But continuing on, those 2 hours are spent doing that because I am on full-blown dad mode the other days of the week. Fridays, of course, full-time kids days. Both kids are home. Both kids were doing stuff, having fun. And my wife, she is the working mom. She goes to work from the hours of about. She leaves here, if we're being good, around 8. And she gets home, if we're being good, around 5:45. I am responsible for maintaining nutrition. This is the best way to put it. I am very, very huge on nutrition. I think nutrition is one of the biggest, most important things that you can do in your household to set your children up for success, set your wife up for success, set your spouse up for success. And so nutrition for me is important. I use the word nutrition not because I'm just talking about nutritious foods, but I'm talking about actually having food ready to go, such as giant portions so that there's food available as leftovers. So we're not forced to go eat out and spend exorbitant amount of money on fast food, but also eat some of the junk that is in fast food. Food's really important to me. I lost 100 pounds when I was younger just by diet and exercise, and I think that food is so powerful when properly used and not abused. And so I have taken it upon myself to cook all the meals. I cook, I would say, 95% of the meals. My wife, every once in a while, will take a meal on the weekends, but for me, cooking is relaxing. I love to cook. I love learning new recipes, trying new recipes, but what excites me more is knowing that my family is being fed delicious, wonderful meals, because that makes me feel good. Very, very good. And I've used meal services like HelloFresh and all these things, but realistically, I just prefer going to the grocery store. I like going to the grocery store. I like picking out the ingredients, holding the ingredients. I'm a tactile person, guys. Like, that's part of the reason why I play video games the way I do, and we'll get to the video game thing. But when it comes to taking care of my family, nutrition is something that when I see my children, when I hear my daughter squeal for joy when she finds out we're having juicy chicken, which is literally just cast iron crusted chicken thighs with lemon and garlic and fresh herbs. Like, that's all it is. That's juicy chicken. Pan-seared, delicious chicken thighs. Of course, with skin on it because that's so delicious. That's juicy chicken. With some vegetables on the side. She gets so excited. She loves it. My son, the same. He loves chicken. When I hear that brings a lot of joy to my heart. And so I cook all the meals. Now, when it comes to meal cooking, because nutrition is so important to me, I cook fresh meals. Meal prep gets really boring after a while. I've done it. I was in the fitness space. And so the thought of cooking 15 meals on Sunday and eating them throughout the week is tedious. I honestly believe that meal prep, if done improperly, which often is, leads to the most amount of food waste. Realistically, cooking meals every 2 to 3 days, or in my case, every day, allows for leftovers to take place for the next couple of days, and you're able to provide for your family a little bit more. So when it comes to meal preps and food and stuff like that, breakfasts, a little bit more lackluster. We just kind of get to it when we do. I fast in the mornings. Food takes a lot of time, right? What's left? What's left in the day, right? Well, also making sure that my kids don't live in clutter. My wife doesn't live in clutter. My wife and I share responsibilities when it comes to cleaning up the house and maintaining it, but we do it ourselves. So that also takes a good amount of time. I know that some people are like, just let it go, man, but I can't. I have ADHD. I am easily overstimulated by visual clutter, and so for me, it's important that I maintain a somewhat level of cleanliness. I also freak out if there's any sort of dirt, so I do a lot of cleaning. I vacuum. I'm basically the Danny Tanner of the gaming world. I vacuum every day. Every day. Shout out to the dads who vacuum, dude. Vacuuming is one of the best feelings, by the way, because it is so immediately gratifying to see those vacuum lines. That's a better recipe. I did 25 grams with 400 grams of water. Oh, that's smooth. I like that. I like that. Now, those are just the basic responsibilities. What happens with work? What do I do for work? Is this my work? This isn't my only work. I also edit for my father's ministry. I try to maintain an element of consulting for him. I also, in doing so, am someone who streams. But when it comes to my daily activities, I, from 5 to 7, work. From about 7 to 8, get the kids out the door with my wife. From about 8, if it is a dad and son day, from 8 until about noon 30. We are out and about from noon 30 to 3. He is napping, and I have 4 options. I can clean the house, I can prep a meal, I can work out and take care of myself, or I can work. The 5th one would be gaming. I don't do that during the day. Then I have the evenings. Evenings, my wife comes home, she takes over immediately, and I start cooking dinner as fast as possible. If it's a non-streaming day, then I am eating dinner. My wife has got some afternoon fitness things she does, and so I'm back on duty until sleepy time. Sleepy time happens between 8 and 9 p.m., and once that happens, I have 4 options. I can clean, I can finish work I haven't done, I can work out if I didn't that day, or I can go to bed at a responsible hour because I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. regardless. And the 5th one is game. That is the day of someone who works in the online space, who takes care of their family, who has a working spouse, and who is trying to maintain a hobby. So when a statement like, gosh, you guys act like you work 16 hours a day. I do. I am focused on so many other things. And statements like, you need to learn how to take care of yourself and set time aside for you. I am of the persuasion that, yes, it's important to take care of yourself because if you fall apart, then the people that rely on you aren't going to be able to rely on you. I totally understand that. But I think there might be a disproportionate amount of attention that we have on self-care. I am of the persuasion that when you are a parent, when you are a spouse, there is something called sacrificial love. Sacrificial love is exactly the way it sounds. I know that it is crazy. I know that that might be controversial in its own, but I believe that a husband is to sacrifice more and to do more to make sure that his children and that his wife is properly loved and cared for. If that means that it's weeks, months, years on end of being in a position where you feel more weight, are working harder, and are potentially not in the best mental spot, that's part of the role. This is my belief. This is the way that I run my house. And it's why I have unfortunately had some really low lows and have failed in a lot of ways and some pretty good high highs. But I still believe that when it comes to my family and doing stuff for them, they do come first. And it's something that I work on a lot. And there is an adequate amount of guilt that happens when I go, I'm just going to sit back and play video games, which I do from time to time. I go, am I still providing for my family? My wife, so gracious, is like, you need to take a step back and just enjoy things. And she is correct. It's difficult for me to do so. I don't know if you resonate with this at all, but when it comes to balance of time, it is a lot less of, oh man, you just need to be better at prioritizing, and a lot more of, when is it appropriate for me to decide I'm not going to clean my house, cook good meals, take care of my family, spend quality time with my wife or my kids, take care of my body, or lastly, I guess, sleep? When do I sacrifice those things to go, instead I'm going to game? For me, it's always the balance, trying to figure out where do I find that? And for me, I keep saying for me because I feel like you have to preface everything on the internet because people just get all bent out of shape. For me, what I've realized is one of the best things that has happened to me as a gamer is the idea of going back to portable. This Mod Retro Chromatic, which I've mentioned in many other cups, and you'll hear me mention it a lot, I don't have any affiliation with them. The only thing is they have allowed me to use their product early, which is really nice. It's awesome. They also have made it abundantly clear that if I don't like it, I don't have to talk about it. We have no contract, verbal or written. There's nothing. Again, I get no kickbacks from these guys. I'm not even going to tell you guys go out and buy one. I certainly am not going to try to persuade you to buy one. But in my gaming life, something like this has become abundantly important because I try to break my social media habits because those things are disgusting. And instead of that's why I reluctantly purchased an Apple Watch again. I like the Garmin Instinct, but the Apple Watch helps me break addiction when it comes to social media and using my phone, because I can lock my phone in my room and I can still take phone calls or text messages on my watch if I'm in my house. And if I'm not in my house, I just throw my phone into my backpack, zip it shut, and then I'm good. I have AirPods, so I can answer all of my phone calls, and I'm able to ditch that habit. But when I'm like, oh man, I'm jonesing for just like the 15-20 minutes of relaxing, and I don't have my Steam Deck or my Switch near me, this thing is in my pocket. I just pull it out. I play Zelda because I'm right now going through Zelda Link's Awakening, which has been really exciting. And really quick sidebar, if you're not following me on Twitch before they completely destroy themselves, and you are into watching video games and hanging out with a like-minded, extremely fun community, I would say consider it. Over on Twitch, I am working on a project because I want to learn more and experience Zelda differently. I've tried to do this before and failed because it was aimless. I have an actual thing. I personally want to try to get through the Zelda franchise and make videos about each one, reviewing and talking about it, specifically the games themselves. Right. So if you want to watch that, that's what's happening on Twitch. We're talking, we are doing some throwback music, playing video games with each other on the weekends, but the fun thing we're doing right now is going through the Zelda franchise, which is really great. I am excited to do something like that because it now has a goal. Some games I don't want to play, like Zelda 2, apparently it's awful. I'm excited to play it because I get to experience it with other people and then make a video reviewing it and talking about it and like learning about it, because I have books that talk about it, like by Bitmap Books. I have books that talk about that game and some of the history. So that's kind of fun for me. Video games, the history of video games, and also Zelda being one of my favorite franchises. Is it focused? Yeah, it's focused. So that's my little quick plug, twitch.tv/JDX Coffee. And over there, you'll find the Discord link to be a part of the Discord. I'm also deciding to share the Discord link down here as well more, at least for the next couple of weeks, because it's important to grow this community as much as possible. And some people don't like Twitch, and they're like, I'm not going to go over there and find the link. And I totally understand. Twitch is gross. It can be, at least. And I'm not sure why I decided to use that. But anyway, back to the time thing. Time is something that takes, that I realize I have a lot less of. And I do waste my time, too, from time to time. Weird using that word right there. And so handheld gaming, going back to handheld gaming, I want to pick up the Steam Deck. I want to pick up the Switch or the Chromatic. I don't really find myself yearning to pick up the RG35XX SP. I'd actually sooner pick up my 3DS than the XX SP. It's a cool device, but emulation has always been missing something for me. Maybe there's charm associated with using original hardware. I don't know. But I'm far more likely to pick up the Chromatic than I am to pick up the SP. I don't, or pick up my Nintendo, my Game Boy SP with Emerald, then pick up the SP that has Emerald ROM. I can't explain to you why. If you know why, let me know. But I just love original hardware. And so going back to the handheld form factor has allowed me, someone who has limited time, who decides to prioritize everyone else but myself in a lot of ways, gaming allows me to kind of trick myself into thinking, I can use these 15 to 20 minutes while I'm waiting for someone to get ready, or I have 30 minutes before I have to go pick up my kids. I'm going to drive there early and sit in my car for 25 minutes and play the games. Like that for me is awesome. I'm going to go stand in line to vote for a while, so I'm going to bring this. Like this kind of thing is such a powerful device, right? And I'm not just saying the Chromatic, right? Chromatic, who cares? For most people, the Chromatic's not going to make sense, dude. Why would you play Game Boy games when you can play a Steam Deck? Like, I totally get it. And a lot of people are like, I'd rather just emulate the thing on the Steam Deck, bigger screen, save states. Dude, you're correct. It is going to be a much more seamless experience. But for me, the charm that exists with using something like this is far greater. I'm looking for experience, true experience, right? And so like, while the Steam Deck grants me ease of use as far as PC gaming, great. But the experience that I'm getting is better, right? Because it's simple, it's good. When it comes to playing games like Link's Awakening, I'm looking for this experience, this handheld. Dude, I mean, like, come on. I do this every time, but... And it's in my hands. Oh, I broke it. Oh, no, it's good. Like, come on, dude. It's just, that is so powerful to me, and it's so great. So I hope that this sheds more light on the gamer YouTuber thing, because genuinely, when it comes to gaming, the 4 days a week I stream for 3 hours, exactly 3 hours, 12 hours. That is the most gaming I will do in my week. The absolute most gaming. There is no other time in my week where I'm spending more than 30 minutes in one sitting. Genuinely. And it's not because I'm not prioritizing myself. It's because I am in a season where spending time sitting and enjoying things on my own, like gaming, is not prioritized. I read a lot of manga. I spend hours reading manga, but that's because I'm trying to create less technology things in my brain. And so after 9 o'clock, if I'm not streaming, dude, technology's off. Phone's in my room. Devices are in here. Like, I am reading manga to go to sleep. I immediately after I'm done streaming, shut off all of my equipment, keep all of my devices in my office. I take a book. I'm currently reading through Dragon Ball Z Super, or Dragon Ball Super. I don't think it's Z anymore. Dragon Ball Super. Head upstairs and I read probably 4 tales, maybe 5 before I pass out. The goal is to have as little technology at the end of the day as possible. And so I hope this answers that comment a little more fleshed out. I certainly don't want you guys to think that I'm like, oh man, life is tough. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is my priorities are family and health, and then gaming. Gaming, a hobby that is refreshing to me, yes, but only if my health has been addressed and my family. Someone could be like, mental health is just as important. I agree. But gaming for me isn't what I use for mental health. Though it can aid in sometimes, for me, mental health can be addressed first through diet and exercise, and then adding in activities. And so diet and exercise take a lot of the forefront, something that has dramatically shifted and changed my life since I was very little. Grew up very overweight, grew up 100 pounds overweight for many years of my life. Once I lost that weight, my life changed. And so now in a state of continuous chronic pain, trying to maintain some level of healthiness, sitting and playing video games for me doesn't grant me that as much as it may grant someone else. And so video games for me as a hobby is something I hold on to for nostalgic purposes. But when it comes to mental clarity and mental health, I am pursuing fitness and healthy eating to help with some of that stuff. Super crazy cup. I know this is all over the place, but I just felt not necessarily attacked, but maybe misunderstood, because this is such an echo chamber. YouTubers talking about video games. There is an assumption that gaming is everything. Gaming is one of the last things that I'm able to participate in my days. I would love for that to change at some point in my life, but as it stands, there's so many things that take precedence over video games, especially since all of my content has changed to talking about life and gaming like that. But maybe one day it'll shift. All right, you guys are awesome. I'm gonna finish this cup, edit this up for you guys. You guys will see this tomorrow, and yeah, come hang out on Twitch with us 4 days a week, 4 evenings a week, just for a few hours. Play more and be kind. See ya.